we are here today with the executive chef for the Montage, Michael Patria. I didn't ruin your name. Good.
No, you did great.
We're also here with Joe Borden, the executive chef for Nowhere.
Which of the 12 restaurants are we in currently?
We're in Cortina restaurant right
Cortina,
now. Yes,
right.
which is our signature restaurant, Northern Italian steakhouse. So
Got it.
And for those of you who have not been to the Montage in Big Sky, it is a stunning establishment. All the dining rooms are gorgeous. I just perused the patisseries in the bakery back there and bought far too many of them to bring home with me. So,
it's
welcome.
one of my favorite spots.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. So, Michael,
Yes.
you have come from Atlanta to Big Sky. I have a very important question. Are you a Georgia fan?
I am a Bulldog fan through and through, yes.
Awesome.
That's where we're starting.
I just
Go
need your
Dogs.
team to beat Alabama in the upcoming game, and I will be happy.
No
It'll
problem.
make
I
up
think
for
we
it.
got this.
I hope so. I hope
You have
so.
reason to be confident.
I
What,
know.
what brought you to Big Sky?
So I was actually most recently in Maui, and the hotel manager here, Christian Mader, he and I had worked together in Santa Barbara years ago, and he called me, and I had told him, he's Swiss, so I had told him many times that, hey, while you're here in the U.S., you've got to go to Wyoming, you've got to go to Montana to check it out. It's seriously some of the most beautiful country I've ever seen. And I kept telling him, and he called me and he said, "You're never going to guess where I'm living now." And I said, "I don't know. Are you back in Miami? You in New York?" He says, No, I'm in Montana." I was like, wow. I said, "So you're calling me because you need a chef, right?" And he said, "That's exactly why I'm calling you." So he made the call, and I came out to visit, and I had lived in Wyoming when I was younger, in my early 20s.
Oh, cool.
I fell in love with being in the mountains. Just not the right time in my life to be secluded on a ranch that was 3 hours from the nearest town, 2 hours from the nearest neighbor. I needed more interaction at that point in my life, but I'd always told myself that when the time was right in my life, then I would definitely make it back out to the mountains. And here we are. I'm now very happily married and not looking to go out to bars and clubs till 3 a.m. So
Well, you're in the right place for
it
that.
it was the right time to be back in the mountains. So
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
excited to be here.
I want everything to close at 9 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Exactly.
I don't even want to be able to buy a snack after 9.
Yeah, exactly.
So describe your cooking style and philosophy.
My philosophy is one where I really like to take classic techniques, classic dishes, and put a fun spin on them. And most importantly, with my cooks, I always tell them, we need to have fun in the kitchen. I've worked for the, quote unquote Gordon Ramsays that are yelling and screaming and throwing plates and that kind of thing. And that was always something I wanted to stay away from with my kitchens. I wanted it to be a place where people look forward to go to work, and we have a great time cooking the food that we cook, especially in a place like this where we have so many different opportunities with a environment like Beartooth, where it's a really fun kind of gastro pub where we get to make the comfort foods and the pub foods, but put a fun spin on them. If we're gonna do a Philly cheesesteak, we're gonna do a bison Philly cheesesteak. If we're gonna do a poutine, we're gonna do a wild duck confit poutine on tater tots.
God, that sounds so
Cortina is for me, Cortina hits a very close place to home. My father's side of the family is Italian. I grew up, in the kitchen with my grandmother rolling gnocchi, and so for what we get to do up here, to me, that's home to me. That really brings a very comfort spot for me. Alpenglow, we get to really play with, Montana style cuisine. We get to play with a lot of game, have venison sausages and rattlesnake rabbit sausage, and kind of have a little bit of fun there.
No, that sounds crazy.
So for me, I love the fact that I have the opportunity to cook all these different types of cuisines in one building, and really have fun with our staff and with our employees and with the other chefs. We work too hard to not enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
This is a labor of love. So,
Is it one kitchen that serves all those different
no,
establishments?
Each area has
you
a different kitchen.
multiple kitchens that you have to oversee.
Correct. Yes. So, which for me is exciting. I've done, I come from a background of independent restaurants. I also did hotels, and that was always what drew me back to hotels was really two things. A, the amount of culture that's brought to you. I mean, you can have somebody from Argentina to your right, somebody from Egypt to your left,
Sure,
and somebody from Brazil straight in front of you. And
Right.
and especially for what we do with food being such a great outlet to share culture with, you know. So that plus the fact that honestly, just doing one restaurant, I would get a little bored.
Yeah.
So I
Such
like
diversity
having
one restaurant.
on all levels. Yeah.
I like having so many different outlets that I get to play with. And again, each outlet has its own identity, and we really get to play and have fun.
and
So
different teams,
sounds-
right?
Correct,
I mean,
yes.
Does each kitchen kind of have its own culture?
It
almost?
does, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, each kitchen has its own team. We do try to rotate the teams. We have
Okay.
a lot of international students that come to us to learn, so we do try to rotate them through the kitchens so that they do get the experience of, okay, now I've cooked Italian food and I know how to make fresh pasta, and today I'm moving over to Beartooth and I'm going to learn what American pub food looks like, and we're going to make pizzas, and then I'm going to go to Alpenglow and I'm going to learn fondue, and I'm going to learn again the sausages and things like this. So it's a great opportunity for everybody.
Absolutely.
Exceptional.
Get
I
a
know.
Broad education. I'm going to send my 14-year-old
I was gonna say,
to
can
cook
we
for you.
send Smith up in the summers? I would love that. Yeah.
So, give me like a signature dish that you would consider this is Michael Patria on a plate here.
So here in Cortina, we've got a beautiful pappardelle with a wild game bolognese, where we do a white bolognese, so it's all white wine, no red wine. We don't do any tomatoes with it, but we incorporate, venison, elk, different game birds, and I think that reminds me of my childhood very much. Now, my grandmother would typically prepare it with gnocchi, but I really love the texture of a pappardelle noodle for something like that. So,
Okay.
So for me, that's one that I feel just comes from the heart,
Sounds so. I salivated. It was. I was talking. And I was
You
like,
guys should probably get in here to try that.
Yeah, like I said, it brings me back to my childhood. I remember being in the kitchen with my grandmother, and this was in Michigan, so kind of similar, where you got the snowfall in the background, and you can smell the pot of bolognese cooking on hour 2 or hour 3. And
Oh, wow.
Just the whole house has got this aroma wafting through it,
Yum.
and then you're rolling the fresh pastas, and it's just that was a
Sounds
perfect
pretty
winter day
idyllic.
for me.
Okay.
So.
yeah, that sounds idyllic.
Definitely sending my son here to cook.
So, the rattlesnakes, the rabbits, the everything that you've been working with. How do you source your ingredients for the hotel?
So we have, we have a number of local vendors that we use in terms of, different ranches and things like that. We have a local cattle ranch that we use. We use Prairie Harvest for a lot of the wild game items, which is coming out of Dakota, South Dakota, I believe. So,
Oh, okay.
local-ish.
Yeah.
Where
You're
they're able
not
to
sending
Right over.
servers into the woods here to hunt for the elk.
I can kill a rattlesnake with a shovel. I am.
we actually have a whole lot of alliums growing in the woods right behind us there. So different.
What is that?
Those are like different scallions, wild green
Yeah.
onions.
Oh, no way.
They grow really well
wild
here. The stuff in
chives.
our
Yeah, correct. And I've actually found a few. I don't serve them in the because I'm not a official forager, but we don't serve them in the restaurant. But I have found some chanterelles and morels
Yeah.
up in the woods as well. So
You gotta
Yeah.
hit that at the right time of year.
exactly, yeah. But that's pretty exciting to know that that's in the backyard.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. And then it just you bring it all into the different kitchens. Or do you have that emphasis in every one of the restaurants, would you say?
We do try
On-
to incorporate as much local product as we can in different areas. With again with the game, it's kind of staple in each area. We have elk or bison or venison. Something in each of the areas that does speak to the Montana
Huckleberries,
experience.
just huckleberries in
Huckleberries,
everything.
correct. Yeah, it's one of the few produce items that you can actually get up here. So outside of wild mushrooms. So no, but we definitely try to incorporate it. But we also want each restaurant to have its own identity and not just have that Montana experience identity. We do want Cortina to have that vibe and that feel of Italian traditional cuisine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just, and again, it's not so far off. Cortina is, northern Italy. That's in the Alps. So it's easy to kind of transition the food that we do here in the restaurant Cortina to what you would have in Cortina in Italy if you were up skiing in the Italian Alps. So
That's
Wow.
awesome.
yeah.
So you have your style. You have sort of that Montana influence. How do you keep up with sort of the latest culinary trends? Are you just watching The Bear on Hulu like we are?
So addicted to that
It's
show.
it's a great show.
So good.
One of my mentors always told me when I was younger, he said, one of the most important things for you is to read, and read some more. He was like, never stop picking up new books, never stop looking at the trends that other chefs are doing, never stop going out to eat. So, since moving to Montana, I haven't really had the opportunity, but just prior to coming here, I did a little tour where I went to Denver and I went to San Francisco and LA, and you get little tastes of what's happening in big food cities. Again, reading. I'm always I drive my wife crazy because every time we move, I've got 6 boxes of cookbooks that come with me everywhere.
Okay.
And I'm constantly looking at things that excite me, but also things that you see in the culinary world. Obviously, we have social media, which is a great outlet to be able to look on Instagram and follow
Right.
different chefs that you look up to. Francis Mallman is somebody that I've always looked up to. Yoda Motolangi is somebody that I always look up to. Jose Andres, I've looked up to him since he was in Spain, so I still follow him to this day, and what he's doing now is just incredible with how he's spread his wings from just doing the culinary to this world organization. But it's reading, really.
Yeah. And your menus are flexible enough that you can just incorporate whatever you sort of
Absolutely.
feel like is in the moment.
Again, it's that great opportunity to just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read about something, you make it your own, you put your own twist or your own style onto it, and then it becomes part of what Cortina is, or part of what Alpenglow, or part of what Beartooth is. And with luck and with knowledge of what your guests are looking for, it becomes a favorite. And that's one of the things that obviously always melts a chef's heart when something becomes on the menu that you can't take it off.
Right.
Otherwise there will be mutiny.
riots, in the street.
Because people are coming back for it. They're making appointments to eat that dish.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be there.
It's
Yeah.
got to be there. So
Well, it's very cool. Everything you do is ever evolving. It sounds like with the restaurants and the guests and all of that. It does sound like an exciting job. I never looked at it that way when you're a chef for an establishment like the Montage or something like that. That you're just constantly creating, recreating, doing stuff, and then meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah, you don't want to get bored.
yeah, life never gets boring. That's for sure.
Yeah. So this winter, do you have anything special in store, or?
We have some really great things coming up this winter. We've got, for our festive season, we're doing different cooking classes, which are going to be open to all of our guests. We have s'mores out in the
Yes, I've
lawn
done
every day. We're going to be doing a raclette service, where it's a traditional Alpine cheese that you melt, and you spread it over potatoes and different vegetables and breads and things like that.
It's not fondue. We're not dipping.
It's not fondue. You're not dipping. It's actually got it's like a broiler that you sit the cheese underneath, and as it melts, you just gradually scrape it off over top.
See, I salivated again. This is bad.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, we've got in Cortina, we've got some phenomenal menu items that are really going to hit the spot for you're coming off the mountain, you've been outside in the cold snow. That's one of the beauties of Italian cuisine, is I think it's just really heartwarming food and soul-warming food. So we're really, having fun with the menu here. All the fresh-made pastas that we do here in-house, each one of them speaks beautifully to the season. And then we'll have the opera opportunities and experiences in Alpenglow and then Backcast. So it's going to be a really, really fun and exciting time. I mean, the holidays are a really special time here. And I feel like all the activities that we're going to be doing, and just even the ambiance, you can't help but feel in the spirit of whatever it is you're celebrating.
It's true.
Yeah.
When you're up here.
Nice.
So.
Speaking
My
of
light up
celebrating,
necklace here.
there's some shot luges involved, or
If it's going to be a true opera experience,
There's got to be a good time had, right?
But so you mentioned Backcast. That's is that brand new?
So Backcast it's a great restaurant we've got. It's not brand new. Over the summertime, we had it as a Central South American parrilla. So it was focused on really Latin flavors. In the wintertime, we're going to be focusing more towards a noodle house. So we'll have ramen and pho. We're going to be doing yakitori. We're going to have awesome cocktails that are sake driven, and then we're also going to be doing some adult versions of boba teas. It'll be a really fun experience.
Which means what? Do we have alcohol in the boba itself? Really?
Yes.
You're making
We said if you're going to operate, you got to operate,
drunken
right?
tapioca balls?
yeah,
Like little tiny Jello shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's the adult version. So, of course, we'll have it.
tapioca balls out of your nose. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great opportunity for people to come to the east side of the mountain too. You know, it's a spot that really hasn't been, traveled that well, but we're right off of Lewis and Clark, the lift. So really easy to come down, enjoy some ramen, warm up. Some yakitori, have a couple adult bobas, and get back on the.
You don't have to
get
be a
back on the
guest
slopes.
to use to go to that.
No, that's a
restaurant.
big misconception. And no, we are totally open to the public. All of our restaurants are open to the
If
public.
you're skiing
so-
the resort,
Yeah,
you can come to Backcast.
come
You
down.
can come to any of these restaurants.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Come down for dinner. Come down for lunch. We got Beartooth, Alpenglow, and Backcast will all be open for lunch. Cortina is open for breakfast and dinner. We're here to serve and happy to have as many guests as we can get in house.
It sounds like with that many
cool.
restaurants, that's got to be a lot of guests that you can
Yeah.
accommodate.
We're ready to take them all on. So
Yeah. So you are going to have a wide variety of guests that are your clientele. How do you, accommodate? I'm stealing one of your questions. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's fine.
But how do you cater to guests from toddlers to A-list celebrities to toddlers who happen to be A-list celebrities? Like, how do you make sure that everybody is happy?
Well, first and foremost, everybody who walks in these doors is an A-list celebrity.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
Joe.
good answer.
So,
Yeah.
no, everybody's a VIP. If you walk in the doors of Montage, or if you're coming here to experience anything from the food and beverage to the activities, you're a VIP to us. So we want everybody's experience to be amazing. In terms of children, obviously we have children's menus available for kids, and we design our menus really to be very approachable. That's one big thing for me, is that we need to have, and we will always have luxury items such as caviars and truffles and things like that. But then we've also got a simple, pasta pomodoro, or a lasagna on the menu, something that anybody can relate to. A
little comfort
But we,
food.
and obviously we give it
Kid-friendly.
our edge, and we make sure we're using just the top ingredients, and we're making everything from scratch in house.
Shaved truffles on everything across the board.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Why
Our
not?
kids would love that. I know my kids would love truffles so much.
So yeah, we again, it's just making sure that we treat everybody as special coming in the doors, and we want to make sure that, in my opinion, what makes a food and beverage program or a restaurant fantastic is how you make people feel at the end of the day. A lot of people can cook a steak medium rare. A lot of people can toss a pasta, but do they make everything with love? Do they make sure that your experience at the table is fantastic? Do they make sure that you feel you've been absolutely pampered from the minute you walk in the door to the minute you're leaving? I don't want people to just walk away saying, wow, that was a good dinner. I want them to say, this was an amazing experience, and I cannot wait to come back and do it again.
Yeah.
So
That sounds, and I
Can't
agree.
get over the
Joe
fact
and
that you're a Georgia fan. I want everything out of your mouth to be
Makes me
great,
happy.
but
I
then
like
I
you
just
more
keep
now.
coming back to that. It's not good.
You shouldn't. So, do you have any hobbies outside of cooking?
I love hiking. So
Good
this
place.
is a beautiful place for that. I also I enjoy. This is a lot of chefs, friends of mine are always like, you cook at home all the time.
Yeah.
I love barbecuing.
Yes.
So I think it's a Southern boy in
Now we're
me.
talking.
Yeah.
You know, so I've got all my grills at home and my smokers and everything, and that's to me a really great day is waking up in the morning, going for a great hike, coming back, firing up the grills, and getting a brisket on or some ribs and just doing that.
Is that your go-to? Smoking brisket, smoking ribs?
Briskets and ribs
Okay.
and chicken. I don't know what it is. I love a good smoked chicken.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like smoked turkey so much.
it's
I don't know
delicious,
what-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
especially
is.
if you brine it right beforehand.
Yeah,
Joe
nice
has a
little
decent
apples-
brine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do for your brine?
It's just a watered-down apple cider with brown sugar, salt,
Okay.
and orange zest. Maybe some
Yeah.
clove in there as well.
Cloves.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, and garlic. But,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have the garlic.
Yeah.
Now I'm interviewing you.
Exactly.
Please,
yeah.
pick my brain.
I know, totally.
No,
yeah.
I love the smoking meat, the barbecue. That is, I feel like that's one thing that I can do that's just about as good as anything I could buy.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is if I really put some time into smoking some meat, it is the best thing that I'll find
Exactly.
out there.
Yeah, his territory is the grill and the barbecue and smoker, things like that. I'm a
But
baker.
huge fan of pho.
Yeah.
And ramen. So I'm excited about
Yeah.
trying
We need some good
some of
ramen
the
around
food, and we're going to get to sample a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Is
We've
that
got
the
some
case?
coming here shortly. I believe
right,
that
then
Chef Marlon's bringing that.
What
out
we
here in a
may do
moment.
is stop down.
Okay.
And then we'll start recording again when we
Okay.
have that
samples.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds
Cool.
good. Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. The food has magically arrived here. Walk us through what we have in front of us.
Magically appeared, yes.
Chef.
So we have a beautiful venison yakitori where we've done a Buddha's hand ponzu glaze. This is going to be, again, a nice local venison. We're doing this over binchutan charcoal and white oak. So a little bit of wood fire, a little bit of charcoal fire to it. You know, just a really nice kind of spin on some local ingredients that we thought we could really fit into that yakitori noodle house kind of vibe.
Okay.
So,
You start eating it. I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you more questions.
I'll have it.
How long have you had this on the menu?
this is actually going to be starting December 15th. So this
Okay.
is the up and coming. You guys are getting the preview.
This is a sneak peek.
This is the sneak peek preview.
It's going to be cold by the time you guys get it, to be honest. What do you think? Uh-huh. Really good?
I always laugh because I always feel like whenever I go to a table, I always catch people right when they got a mouthful of
perfect.
something,
No,
and
no.
they're like, I'm like, no, it's my perfect timing.
Talk
No.
through it. No, you're not allowed.
And then we've also got a beautiful spicy chicken ramen. So we've got airline chicken breast that we've done a nice ponzu marinade, and then we've done a little bit of a spice bomb in there. So we've got some beautiful chilies, some bird's eye chili that we've fermented, a nice miso ramen.
That is delightful.
Beautiful,
Mushroom.
shiitake mushrooms, bok choy,
My favorite.
nori, and some beautifully soft-boiled eggs. So,
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
I like that broth.
again,
That is very
For
rich.
those of you who can't see, these are soft-boiled eggs, and they're perfectly done. You know, don't hard-boil them when you're doing the ramen.
No.
All right. You talk now, Michelle. I'm gonna eat some of this.
Okay. So, tell me more about the cooking over the different types of oak, because that's a new thing for me to hear.
Sure. So for me, whenever I'm doing wood fire cooking, I usually really enjoy using white oak. It allows you to get a temperature that's really hot,
Right.
but it doesn't have.
Beautiful.
It's not gonna be pretty. Okay?
Eating ramen is not supposed to be
Exactly.
pretty. It's just supposed to be delicious. And for those of us like you and I that have a beard, it's always it's always fun.
Wearing it.
Yeah. There's been times where he's given me a kiss. I'm like, what did you have for lunch? What are you on there?
It's just a little ramen juice, just
Yeah.
saving some for later.
All right, you're talking about oak.
So white
Yeah,
oak.
so white
I
oak,
didn't know that.
it fires at a very nice high temperature, but the smoke that you get off of it is not quite as intense as, say, like a mesquite or something like that. So it really, especially for me with meats, it's something that I really like using the white oak as a way to impart a little bit of flavor, but not overpower the flavor.
You still have the meat flavor.
And then a
Yeah.
little bit of that binchutan charcoal is going to just give you that little that taste, that flavor of it being kissed off of a nice yakitori grill. Very traditional Japanese charcoal. That again it's just got a really nice subtle, approachable flavor. It's not overly smoky, but it does give it that it just got kissed right over a little bit of charcoal. So
that chicken is so tender in the ramen. That's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, we again, everything that we cook over the wood fire, we make sure that the wood has been burning for at least an hour and a half before we start trying to cook over it, so the temperature is just right. It's we do a brine on the chicken so that it's able to really stay nice and tender, and then cooking it over that wood fire that's just hot enough to get it seared and get it cooked, but not dry it out at the same time. So it's wood fire cooking is definitely an art that I've learned to really appreciate and love. Mm-hmm. As I'd mentioned before, one of my favorite books is by Francis Mallmann, who's made wood fire cooking very popular worldwide. Argentinian cook, their chef that really brought it to the table, I think, to where people it's become so popularized. And it's definitely one of the many levels of art form within the culinary arts that I think is really stands out and makes food very special. So
it's so good.
Did you taste it in the meat?
Michael, you want to eat any of this? Come.
No.
Come on, man.
He's like, yes, of
We
course
have
I want to
the
eat.
behind the camera guy. Have some food.
Can't.
Eat some kebabs.
Can't let him sit over there and
Well,
watch us eat. I feel
I
terrible.
know. I feel bad for you, Michael. You're having both Michaels.
I have the luxury of eating this stuff all day, so
It's
And
true.
so
you
people-
have to. You have to taste it.
Oh, absolutely.
To make sure.
Absolutely.
What's the date
Poor
people
thing.
can start coming and getting ramen?
So we'll be December 15th.
Okay. December 15th, you can
So
get
you
some of
gotta-
this ridiculously
gotta
good
come out
ramen.
and
Get in on this, guys.
Check out Backcast for some ramen.
Yes, check out Backcast and definitely check out all of the incredible restaurants within the Montage establishment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All of them.
Opera.
Opera, come out for dinner, come out for
Bowl.
lunch, breakfast. Just come out and enjoy. That's what we're here for, and we welcome everybody. So,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you, Chef Michael.
Thank
My
you
pleasure.
very much.
Yeah,
This has been
absolutely. Thank
great.
y'all.
I'm going to keep eating.
please do. That makes me happy. That warms my heart.
Good. Good.